Namaskar and a very good morning. Welcome to the audiocast from Kotak Securities. I'm your host and guide, Anindya Bannerjee. Every night is eventful. Something or the other happens in the financial markets and in the geopolitics. Geopolitics, what is the latest talk? The talk is that the Western countries, or let's say the NATO countries and the NATO allies, they are looking to strengthen the sanctions over Russia. The big nuclear option is if they place an embargo on oil and gas trade from Russia, because both these markets are tight. Europe mein gas prices have already skyrocketed to the highest level ever. Oil prices globally is not far away from the all-time highs. 125 के आसपास Brent is trading और 145 क्रॉस करते ही it will make a fresh all-time high. Russian oil और gas के ऊपर embargo can be dangerous. It can lead to a major spike in oil prices. तो इसके ऊपर decision लिया जाएगा आने वाले दिनों में. And not just America, because it is easier for America to place an embargo on the Russian oil because not much flows from Russia to US. That can be switched. But problem will happen for Asia and Europe. So these countries, whether they will come on board with America or not, that needs to be seen. And also sanction का दो तरीके का sanctions होता है. एक होता है कि you just place a sanction on a particular country that your companies and government will not trade with that country. दूसरा, the second type of sanctions which happens is you basically warn other countries that they also cannot trade with that particular nation, in this case Russia. And if they do, you will place a secondary set of sanctions on these countries. A similar thing was done with Iran. तो इसके लिए whether they opt for the first kind of sanctions, which is basically primary sanctions between two countries, or they go for secondary sanctions and it creates problem for other nations in the world to trade with Russia on commodities. क्योंकि commodity markets are absolutely gone insane. कल nickel prices and base metals have just shot up. We saw almost like an 80% move in nickel prices. What is happening? I'm not going to go into the technicalities of what is happening, but in simple words, I would say there are massive margin calls getting triggered across the commodity market, and major commodity players, hedge funds, are stuck because the financial system है ना, ये बहुत ही interlinked है. And the leverage is also extremely high. When such shocks happen, we saw during the COVID times how the central banks had to come in a big way to save the financial system because of an external shock. But this is also an external shock. Now we have to see, and we have to keep a very close eye if major financial institutions or commodity players or banks are getting into trouble because of these big moves in the markets. अगर ऐसा है तो उसका collateral damage can flow into global equity markets, global credit markets, bond markets, जिसका असर obviously Indian equity bonds और Indian rupee पे आएगा. So we need to be watchful here. This is a time where you manage your risks than trying to be too aggressive on trying to generate returns, right? So this is the overall theme, that what is happening in financial markets, what is happening in geopolitics. Now, how to play dollar rupee? Now, since end of February, हम लोग a simple सा trade है. We have been bullish and we have been using options to play this bullish move, and it has worked out fantastically well because option दो कारण से benefit किया है. एक तो obviously we have been doing calls, we have been buying only calls, so call spreads and calls. जिसके कारण we got that nice up move which happened from under 75 to now above 77. But at the same time, जो VIX है, USDINR VIX, that has jumped significantly. For example, जो weekly options का VIX है, yesterday it was double digits. So you can understand how volatile the VIX itself has become, or the implied volatility which we say, which means the option premium जो है, उसका fluctuation is going to be immense because of this sharp movement in the VIX. So suggestion is what you should avoid. It is advisable that you should not do futures trades if you are doing trades for overnight. Intraday के लिए futures can be done because intraday में though the probability of your stops getting hit because of this two-way volatility is high, but at least you can manage your risk. So if you're doing futures, stick to intraday. For overnight trades or positional trades, our suggestion is you do only options. best is call spreads or put spreads. If you want to go against the market, then do put spreads. But because we are bullish, we continue to be bullish on dollar rupee, we will advocate call spreads. Because VIX is so high, so naked calls are not advisable because option premium will be exceptionally high. So call spreads are advisable. Short option is not advisable because high VIX or dusra, limited gains, unlimited risk. So that is not advisable. Levels on dollar rupee 77 30 के ऊपर अगर sustain हुआ dollar rupee on the March futures, or let's say 77.10 on spot, then it can make a big move towards 78 levels on the spot itself, which will be 78.20 on the future. So 77.30 on the March futures and 77.10 are the crucial resistance zones. उसके ऊपर sustain करना is a big breakout. RBI intervention is going to be extremely heavy. We have been seeing the kind of heavy intervention they have been doing over the past few days, and that will increase because during the COVID times we also saw how RBI can aggressively intervene when the volatility increases. So the RBI intervention will be there, and that is one more reason why it is better to stick with options because you can weather the volatility. So call spreads, buy on dips remains the trade. 76.5 on spot and 76.70 on the futures is a major support zone. Crosses में yen INR will be extremely volatile and highly sensitive to the risk appetite. जैसे ही risk aversion intensify होगा, yen INR can rally big. But stick to only intraday trades and not overnight trades in the crosses. So that's it, folks. This is Anindya Bannerjee signing off. A fantastic day ahead.